I had mentioned on stream just how insane the potential was for this, just because being able to hit information at a distance is wild. I pulled off more consistent moments like this back to back once I started getting the hang of Sparrow, so run the footage. I hit this. Oh my god, I hit it! That's insane. Oh my god! Again? While I'm jumping? That's so sick! I don't know why that's so satisfying, dude. That's so much fun. I know it's like not the most impressive thing, but it's fun. This way.
You can get almost as much intel as I give you.
They won't stand a chance against you, beautiful.
Can't see the thing. Oh, got it. Wow. Then I saw on Twitter from username GruickYT, I'll have a link down in the description for his YouTube channel, as well as the link of this post. And then I thought, wow, these lineups are insane. It's like Valorant, essentially, by having those specific lineups. It's the same thought process I had with Alter. So here's my version, but way slower, and his was done with more speed and finesse, but here's my version.
Enemy locations marked on my map. Maybe I should go say hello. Tracker out. A tra poco. Opponent's positions are marked on my map. A tra poco. Setting a tracker. Momento, por favor. Enemy locations marked on my map. Maybe I should go say hello. Setting a tracker. Un momento, per favore. Enemy locations marked on my map. Maybe I should go say hello. Hey, raga, let's go there.
Now the first tip when using these tracking arrows is that they're a lot more forgiving, just as we shown just a second earlier. So you don't have to be dead on, you just have to be within the general vicinity. Tip number 2 is that remember if you happen to miss an arrow or you're trying to shoot to the next POI, and we're going to practice on this POI here, is that even just taking a shot in the dark, at some point you're going to realize that it's going to arc directly back down to you. But at some point you'll be able to throw it, and you can see on the mini-map when you zoom in and say, how far do I need to throw that later? Wow, that was actually pretty insane. That was really close. That was legit a first try. I'm just recording this like really raw. That if I hit that, I would have actually freaked out. But nonetheless, that is pretty much where you can have your area to say, am I throwing this far enough? If you played a lot of games such as Battlefield, you know, bullet drop, that's going to help you a lot. Now, this does help when you see this little area here, right? So if you throw it within that area and vicinity, wait a minute, what happened there? Well, the reason I threw it there, and you'll see whenever I did my guide, is that where it shows isn't necessarily where it's going to land at all times. You kind of have to look at that blue, and you see that little edge of that white right there? I don't even know if I'm going to land this. Let's take a look. Ready? There you go, I did. The end of that white is where it's going to go, and the drop-off on this is really insane. So keep that in mind. Well, you can look at this and say, okay, well, that's the area that it's going to hit. What you want to do is hit either next to it or dead on best you can. So when you're looking at that, even from a distance here, and also another quick tip, you can cancel that by throwing a punch. Very helpful. So if you see this all the way over here and you say, okay, well, looks like the white line is kind of landing over there, and I see like the area, the AoE, kind of hitting around there. Let's see if this will hit. Probably not. It's too low. So you aim it a little higher. You see where the blue is? There you go. The blue, boom. That one should land. There it is. So once you see that blue area of where it's going to land and you mark it up with the white, I'll try to replay the footage there so you can see it, and you can line those up. So what we're going to do now is let's talk about the lineups and how this can really help now that you have a general feel. So the takeaways here. There's a lot of bullet drop. Make sure where that blue lands. The other one, as a reminder, it doesn't have to be dead on to that exact target. It just has to be within the general vicinity. So if you have that, you're going to be in a much better spot. So let's break down the insane one that we did at the very start, and we'll go step by step. And then we'll talk about the other tip when it comes to Sparrow's movement as well, even though the tactical is here. Now, as we're traversing and we're running around from different spot to spot to spot, I really wanted to give some tips, and I still think that Sparrow, I know a lot of pros are putting him in the top like 4, but I don't know if pros are necessarily going to run Sparrow. I think that this is very niche and that there is a lot of possibilities and a lot of great things that Sparrow can do, but it requires a lot of the legwork, which is why I said for most players it might be a C+, but when people put in the work and they learn this, then it has a lot of strength. The reason why there's a lot of power behind this is really because being able to do this at a distance from a lot of different angles gives your team a lot of information, whether you're going to push it a certain direction and throws off opponents, and even then, you saw me doing this even as I was learning Sparrow, throwing them into another POI where you believe somebody might be located, even if there's not a recon there to scan them out. Let's talk about each of these. Now again, I'm not the one who came up with this. You know, the biggest thing is that you have to realize that everyone's gonna have different FOVs and everyone's gonna have different lineups and different tips. I hope that you take away from this is that nobody owns a specific lineup and nobody owns these tips. I highly encourage everyone to take this, share this information, so everyone becomes a better Sparrow player. Now, my biggest tip here, and this is from my own personal advice, is that FOV is going to make your game look different compared to mine. So my lineup, if you have a low FOV, I'm going to show that real quick. Ready? So I play at 102. Now, if I play at 110, which is a lot more common, then this will look a lot smaller, right? So if I happen to lower this FOV, the lineup is going to look different. You might be a lot more zoomed in, right? Now, it's still the same spot when you land it, but it's just something to be mindful of. And of course, if you miss, let's say in this spot where I'm lining up is the second column there. I pretty much put my butt right to the edge of this, put it to the second column, have it exist a little bit over to the right, give or take, and then I throw. And then we're going to see that tracker probably land right around this general area. Let's see. Close enough. I need it to be a little bit far to the left here, just a little bit, which is that give or take right there, probably right there. And yeah, that's pretty much how you're going to do it. The same one here, when you're lining it up, you want the blue cross there. You see where the lineup is to go over that beam. And you want to be at the very edge, like right there, a little bit more to the right. And then boom. This should land right around this area here. Oh, well, they're all in the general vicinity, so yeah, they're all going to hit. They're all within that area. You see how it's so forgiving? Because that was pretty close, and they're all going to be deemed that's within range. I mean, that's very, very forgiving. I think one of the things that we uncover here is that, yeah, it's just a skill shot, but as long as you hit within the general area, you'd be surprised that, yes, it will count. So you have some wiggle room. Does it have to be exact a hit? No. But being precise does improve your probability. So that's why I say don't be afraid to take your shot, and that's always my biggest tip when it comes to any sniper. I treat this like a sniper to the point where it's like, just don't be afraid to just throw it and then see where it lands. Because when you saw where this one landed, right here, and where it's hitting, I guarantee it's pretty forgiving where it's at. Now, let's talk about the last two here, and then we'll get into the movement tech. For this lineup, it's pretty easy whenever you can see. All you got to do is shoot right at it. You see where that white line is right there? And then boom, it goes and lands right on top of it. Very easy. Just like we did earlier, giving that tip. A little more at a distance. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to line up on that pole right there. And like I said, it doesn't look like it's going to be like right on it, but it does actually help to be a little more precise the closer you are. So what I do is if I go too far to the left here, then you're not going to land it. I tend to be like right around here, give or take. Yeah, right there. And then what you want to do is line up that white line right there, or your crosshair right on the, you see where you almost hit right there on the sign? Right above it, probably a few clicks. You go 1, 2, and then 3 in terms of clicks. And then you throw. And then we'll go look at that. Let's cut. So look at that. Pretty fair. It's about 5 meters, give or take. So you throw it 5 meters. Really insane the forgiveness that it does give. You're probably wondering, how long did this take me? Well, considering I'm throwing in the general vicinity and then you saw me throw the other one over there, it doesn't take very long. Just understand there's a lot of drop, and you can just throw these around and just say, okay, where that's going to land. I'm going to throw that all the way over there. You know, just throw them. And granted, yeah, this is a private server, but I promise you, if you just spawn in and just start throwing them, you're going to start getting used to where that's going to land. And you're going to make mistakes. So I encourage you to make mistakes. Even if you drop in solo queue, just start chunking these things at a distance. And just like sniping, everything will start to click and it'll start to make a whole lot more sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut to Storm Point. We're going to talk about some Sparrow movement and break that down just a little bit. So for the last part of the video, what I really wanted to discuss was the insane movement potential that Sparrow has. I've been seeing a lot of clips go viral talking about this, and really, this applies to Ash, this applies to Horizon when it comes to this movement, but when you think about it, Sparrow does have that push forward for momentum. So this makes sense while a movement like this, essentially what you're doing is you're waiting just to get to the absolute apex or just slightly forward to go boom, and it pushes you, I might actually overshoot it. Oh my gosh, we landed. There we go. And then even when you're doing it, you can air strafe, essentially, move left or right, and then keep it going from there. Now, the beauty is that if you were to hit the edge of this, oh, there we go. Oh, we missed it. Well, we're not going to try that again anyways, but it just opens up the potential and the possibilities on playing ledges like Sparrow and what they can and cannot do. So I leave you with this final thought. While the base kit is super simple, applying it to a larger pool can be really amazing. Even the simple things such as using a zip line and then double jumping and then climbing and then going up. All those things really matter because that can juke an opponent and that can make a really big difference. Little things go a really long way. And even if it just seems like a little jump, you'd be surprised what you can pull off. This pushes a legend in terms of creativity to a higher tier level, just as much as playing Altar. If you put it in the wrong hands, Altar could be pretty much a C- legend, but in the right hands, this legend can really succeed. Hopefully this video is helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.